Hello and welcome to Bobby's Portraits. My name's Robert Shirt, and in this video I'm going to be showing you quite a brief demonstration of how I go about creating a pastel pencil portrait. Now this particular portrait is of a Spaniel. It's done primarily using Faber-Castell Pit pencils. I do have a few odd different pencils, like some Cretacolors and other various ones I'll be using for this portrait. And it's done on a Clairefontaine Pastelmat paper in sand colour. So after we've got the initial outline done, and then we move into the darker areas. You can see here this is quite sped up because it is quite a short video, only 15 minutes. So we'll start with the darker layers underneath, and always darker, then move into the lighter layers. I've gone through the first section here. I would usually nearly always do it all in one go, but I've split this into sections so I can explain a little better. So like you see, yeah, I've gone over it in the dark colours and then I've blended those and used a blending stick, sorry. And then that was a little too light, so we will start to go over it again. Not just using the dark colours, we'll use some of the other colours like the browns and whatever colours I need there and then we'll start going into a bit of a finer detail. So like I say, we'll go through the darker, then to the lighter. And you can see here I'm putting down some grey here. I very rarely use white. It's only for really sharp highlighters, because nothing is really white generally. But so yeah, to this section here you can see I've nearly come to a finish on it. Got into the details in the eyes, but unfortunately I've not been able to zoom in on this to show you how I did the eyes. I think there's a little section later on where I could go into detail with that a bit more. But yeah, so still using the blending pencil in parts, and just really working from dark to light, and keep going from dark to light, and I'll keep moving over areas if I don't think they're right, and do it like that. So yeah, that's just like I say, I'm just keeping things brief in this video. Maybe in other videos I'll go into more detail in sections, but I just wanted to give you a basic view of how I do things. So you can see in this next section here, I'm going to probably do it all in one go. So you'll see quite more of an example of what I mean with dark to light and blending in. So what I'll do is I'll let this run, and you can see, and then I'll catch up, go through the parts in a moment. So as you can see there, I've got what we call the underpainting done, which is your bottom layer that you need to do, but sometimes, like I say, you need to keep going over that again. Mostly your detail comes in right at the end, which is more like your highlights and things like that. So yeah, here's a close-up section of the eye. Now this is limited to how much detail I can actually get into this eye, because this is quite a small painting. So you can imagine the bigger I go, the better detail you can get in there. So as you can see, from comparison to the size of the pencil tip there, it is quite a small eye, so quite limited really. Putting down some lighter detail there, but it is a bit harsh, so it will get blended. As you can see, blending that bit a little bit more. At this stage, you can see it's still quite rough-ish, because we haven't gone into too much detail in the fur or things like that. Here we're starting to go over with some greys here. You'll like go from a medium grey. This one is like quite a grey, pinky nectar kind of colour. It is one of the Pastel pencils, but don't have them with me while I'm doing this to tell you exactly which one it is. But I will do a video at some point showing each pencil, what colours they are, and things like that. So as you can go away, there's a reference to which ones I'm using. Now then, this is more of a mid grey, like a mid to lighter grey using here. This is more or less as light as I will go. There will be the odd little bits like you see around the eye that is really white, but they're the only areas that will need it to be that colour, because if you look at your reference photo, things aren't that white most of the time. Like the right hand side, you can see there, that is more like a darker grey I'll use there, because this is more in shadow there, so can't really put any whites on that area. It just wouldn't work. Now you see below there I've put the lead and everything in, because as I'm putting detail, you need to work in over those, so you need to do those before you go into your details, like your fur, your whiskers and things like that. So that's what I've done there. Yoth, I think we're still basically on to get the results we're looking at there. You see I've done all the detail in the nose and things like that. Right now, so as you can see here, I've nearly coming to the end of the portrait. I've mostly got the face and the ears done. Again, layering up from the darker to the light. Here you'll see on this side of the face, it's when it's hitting the light, I've come a lot lighter than the mid-tone greys, and I could probably come into the lightest of the greys on this pencil here below. You'll see, I think that's like a yellow grey. I think that's a cretacolor pencil. Because it's below the head, obviously it doesn't catch the light as much, so it's a darker grey, more darker highlights on the left hand side of the ear here. I think this is the only time, except parts of the eye, I picked up the white pencil, where I'm just putting some really finer highlights. I'll not put many in. These are just to make little parts pop, give it more that professional look. Fine strokes. And then in the darker areas, like the eyes, you'll see there I will go over with the darkest parts of it then, just to make those. Most of the time you don't really want really sharp edges. It wants to be softer darks. I think if he gets too sharpened, it can look a little bit unnatural. But you see with the putting in some whiskers there, just turning my pencil as I do it, give it more that jagged fur, and then I'll finally go across and finish it all off. And you'll find that there'll be, if you look closely at your reference photo, there will be some wispy hairs coming off here and there. This gives it again more of a professional finish, so it's not too, yeah. So I think this is more or less finished really. So I'm glad you hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully I shall be creating more content so you can take a look at what else I have to offer. And then once it's finished, then I'll sign the portrait, find a suitable place, have a look round. It'll look won't look silly. I'm going for just below the dong there. Oh yeah, well, thank you for watching.